And I'm peeking through the wheel. And I'm peeking through the wheel. It's cold and rainy today.
Halloween is on its way. Licorice.
I don't know if I'm gonna want to put ketchup and mustard on that kind of shit. I mean, these things is black here. Dude, back in action again. Dude, back in action. Because the little mounts and shit I got here for doing these little vlogs or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But the production company that I'm working at right now, sometimes you kind of hit a wall creatively of what it is that, what direction you're going to go, what kind of videos you're going to put out or whatever, because I don't have a template. Because a production company, you want to show different looks, different variations, some collabs, whatever. Be careful with collabs now. You want to get yourself popping. And let's say you get another YouTuber or something like that who's, you know, doing pretty well for themselves, and you collab up with them, okay? Now, guarantee you're gonna get a lot of carryover from that, you know, group or whatever, that YouTube following, and they're gonna come over to your site. But after that, they ain't gonna fuck with you no more. So don't depend too much on collaborations. And like I also try to venture out and like these little businesses and stuff that I think's cool, especially down here in Elizabethton where I frequent. There's an old part of Elizabethton, which
old part of town, but it's just kind of been neglected.
But I see they're putting little places and little businesses like that. Bristol is a great example of what I'm talking about. I don't know if y'all know much about Bristol, Virginia, but check out like their sidewalk kind of thing. Man, they're doing it down there. And then I see it in downtown Johnson City. I see it a little bit there. But hey, you make your city pop. You make your community pop. That's what you can control. Or at least I freaking think. You know what I'm saying? You help those, or you shine the light on those not happy with the state things right at the moment because the changing of the guard and shit like that. But, hey, time goes on. And I'm not a political person by any freaking means. I don't look at the left. I don't look at the right. I look what I feel like it's whoever wants the best for this world. You got a good spirit or you got a bad spirit. All that in between, who gives a shit? If I feel like you mostly doing good in this world, I'll fuck with you. If I think mostly you doing bad or whatever, and all this is subjective. What you're willing to tolerate. What you think is, bad, some people are like, whatever. But what you think is good and you're praising, other people like, I don't see the value in it. But hey, to each their own. That's why people love this country. It's why I love it. Take this from a man who's been around the world 3 freaking times. Been all over the place because of a military lifestyle. Not because we was rich or fucking balling or anything like that. That was what I was born into. Taken from the vagina and thrown on the airplane. And you don't get in that school, get in the freaking airplane and we're going. And my dad, he'd been in the military 30-something odd years. So he catch that traveling, rolling stone kind of thing. Where just love to get out and see the world. I learned how to be a person, not in a fucking classroom. Let me tell you something. School didn't teach me but a little bit, okay? All my knowledge came from tagging along with my dad, tagging along with my dad and his little military buddies. And just being around adults all the time. In Australia, it's like where we lived, Alice Springs. This was a little bitty old town, thousands of miles from nowhere. You could go into the local pubs. There's kids. You can bring your dog in there. If you got a freaking, I don't care if you got a pet goat, you can bring that son bitch in there. Not everywhere, but most of the places is kind of like that. And where I learned to see how people move was at the bowling alley, was at the softball game, was at the fishing hole, golf course, social gatherings, what the hell ever. Like I said, the bar, the local hangouts and stuff. Hey, that's where you see how people move, especially adults. You see how people move. And it was hard for me to relate to kids because, not that I'm smart or anything like that, because really, I'm dumb as hell when it came to school. I got to 7th grade, and it was like, after that, I was like, oh, this shit got real. And I stumbled across the finish line. Okay? That's what I did. I stumbled over the finish line. Then after that, I was like, you fuck this school. Shit, I'm playing all kinds of different sports and everything, or, constantly. Dad had me doing this. Mom, I had a tiger mom, okay? She, at one point, karate, football, baseball, golf, bowling league. I'm telling you, I even play goddamn squash. I don't know, cricket, Australian fucking rules football. I was good at cricket and Australian rules football. I was on the senior team, so like, let's say, varsity here in America, varsity, in Australia. Not because I was all that great, I just loved to do it, and I had a willing to do it all the time. And that will get you a long way in this world. Remember, talent, yeah, God-given and all that stuff. But talent is also a pursued interest. It's whoever's willing to get up every day and go through the motions. Whether it's cooking, whether it's building houses, whether it's rapping or singing or what have you. It's just who's willing to get the reps in. It's just like building your muscles up. That's the same principle. You can take it and go across the board. But I tried to I was telling stories about my past and just wild behavior and shit that I cringe at. That, looking at it from this angle, like, damn, man, it's something, whatever with you. But, not to dismiss it or make excuses of it or anything like that. I'd have done so much by the time I was 16. By the time I got here, I'm not saying I had PTSD, but I had freaking something. Something to where getting out of schools and freaking different environments. And let me tell you something. The new guy always gets tested. I don't care how cool you think you are, how freaking nice you are. You're going to get tested by something or someone. So that's what I come from. Battle all the time, battling with people. And then here's a little tidbit about Australia, where we lived at, okay? Here was my dilemma. I'm half Irish, half Korean, with some German and some other fucking shit. I'm a some of this, some of that type person, okay? Now, in Australia, they have something called Anzacs, which is a military combination between Australia and New Zealand. They were a part of World War II and Vietnam. Now, guess what? What was the common factor? Asian people. Japanese in World War II, and then the Vietnamese in Vietnam. And then, let's factor this. In the 80s, a tourism boom happened in Australia, and the primary tourists were Asians, and they all were shutterbugs. Hell, it annoyed me. And I'm freaking, everything, picture. That's what they was doing all the freaking time. Now, let's complicate the situation. I'm American. Hey, here's a little tidbit to the world. Outside of America, people really got to think, they look at us like arrogant, whiny, holier than thou, spoiled, and to a degree, there's truth in it. And so they love your money. They love, that you're touring and shit. But outside that, man, people try to take advantage of you. In Florida, they got something called Molly. patty whacking, and it's like little young children freaking robbing old tourists and shit like that, taking their cameras from them, their purses from them, beating the shit out of them and all that. So at an early age, I had my head on a freaking swivel, man. I had parents that loved me from a distance. That was kind of the boomer generation. It wasn't, come here, son, I love you. And that wasn't like that, man. So we touched down in certain places, and mom and dad were like, here's your couple bucks, fuck off. And so I would go exploring by myself. I'm not even 10 years old yet. I'm freaking, hang on a second. I'm back. I'm not even freaking 10 years old, as I was saying. And they would hand me a few bucks, go to the freaking arcade, go to the freaking mall, whatever. And I was like, because that's where the kids were, and that's where whatever. So I used to carry this backpack around with all my shit in it, you know, my Walkman. And now, looking back on that, would I let my kids do that in this day and age? No. Fuck no. But I was blessed enough to be born into the world where there was still a degree of innocence, okay? The Great Barrier Reef, when I swam in it, it was very vibrant and it was living and it was one of the natural wonders of the fucking world. That motherfucker is dying currently. So that just kind of gives you a little insight to kind of whatever. But anyway, back to what I was saying. In my backpack, I had a sock with my change and my quarters in it, which I was like, in my head, I'm like, I know that I'm not some big physically intimidating dude. I'm not some fucking Billy Badass. I do not like confrontation because I've been through so much confrontation. Like I said, it is a form of PTSD. It's just like, damn. So once the people get here, you got small town people looking at you, God, you're weird, you're different, what are you this or what are you that? I'm like, no, I'm just a collective of different cultures. I like I like this about your culture, this about your culture, and I make it my own, and here's what you have. Now, again, mixed race people, I identify as my own thing. I don't identify as white, I don't identify as Asian, you know what I'm saying? I identify as whatever. Seriously. But in Hawaii, we go there a lot because there's a big military presence in Hawaii. And we stayed at the military hotel or whatever. It's a nice freaking facility. But all I'd have to do is spend a couple hours in the sun. Hell, I'm dark as any Hawaiian person there. So I could maneuver in certain places like a local. Hey, a nail that sticks out always gets the fucking hammer. Trust me. If you want to stand out and be that whatever, there's shit that comes with that. Ask anybody who's tried to get out there and be something, okay? Whether it comes from a place of arrogance or a place of, man, I'm just doing me, okay? If somebody sees you trying to shoot the freaking moon, that whole, which I was born in Maryland, so the crab adage, that was a big thing. Crabs in a bucket, right? When a crab sees another crab almost getting out of the barrel, it snatch. You physically see them snatch and pull it down. It is the most shadiest shit on the planet. And I'm like, you know, living in a time where not everybody got a platform right now. So that's why you see all these weirdos coming out of the woodwork, because they got a platform. They got this, just like I do. Not to say that I got it all together, or not to say that I'm just what, you know, I still got a lot of shit to work on. But I am one of those people that feel like, yes, there is hardwired DNA aspects to you. Absolutely. But how you handle things, how you respond to things, that is something you can work on. That is something I hope to grow in and get better at, and unlearn a lot of bad habits that I have and create good habits. And it does not happen overnight. God bless you if it did. If you can change your life and doing a 360, man, you do a lot that other people cannot do. But with me, it comes in drips and drops that on their own, it's like, whatever. But after all those drips and drops accumulate, it makes a big old pond. Now you're working with something. And that's kind of how it was with my record and getting into trouble and shit. On its own, it's like, all right, you fucked up. But those drips and drops over time accumulate to whatever. I'm still able to get jobs and here and there, but boy, it's slim fucking pickings. And people know that. So be careful of somebody who's saying, I'm going to give you an opportunity, okay? There's a difference between giving somebody an opportunity and waiting on them to fail. I've seen this happen before. They basically do everything but pull up a chair and sit there and watch you. You're fired. That's how it is. That was my experience.